In this recording, I wanted to share some background on my own exposure to the Arabic language. And, you know, everyone has their own story about how they've been exposed to a language. Either they were born into it or they learned about it later. And of course, I'm going to share a couple of things here, not my whole story. That can't fit into a recording of any length. But I will share a couple of key things that I think will help educate maybe someone else who's trying to learn the Arabic language and learn some aspects of it. Maybe there's an interest there for your own motivations. Maybe it's academic in nature, maybe it's cultural or relationship oriented or things like that, or spiritual in nature, and you're in pursuit of learning and trying to understand. So, first, I want to start, before I say anything else, I thank God for the exposure. And I thank God for all the people that I've been involved with and met who have helped me to learn, practice, be exposed to, relate with, eat foods in, do different things in, and be very involved, that took their time to try and teach me aspects of the Arabic language. There are many people, unnameable, that have helped me over a long period of time, just in little nuances and scenarios. And I'm highlighting that because I am thankful, and it has been a unique experience. And that is, if you're learning Arabic, for me, the connections with people and living through life experiences with the language has really given me I would say a certain basis, independent of whether I'm studying or not. It's given me a basis as a part of my own life. So it's something that I could never forget or get rid of. It's a part of me. And I think that's important to highlight, because I'm not talking about sitting down with like an Arabic prayer and academically breaking it down from right to left and each letter by letter and getting to the meaning. I'm not talking about that way, even though that is one aspect. I'm talking more about, for my experience, it's been more of a sharing and people sharing with me through love, a language that they were using that was their own language, and it helped to bridge gaps in certain situations and things like that. So I started with that. Let me start by, the second thing I wanted to say is, there was a time, a long time ago, that when I saw what now I know as Arabic, when I saw this writing on a page, there was a time where I thought it was just squiggly lines. I had no idea that this squiggly lines and things that looked like artwork actually were letters that formed words, and those words put together created meaning. I just didn't know, and I wasn't exposed to it in that way a long time ago. I had no idea. And when it came to thinking about, once I began to hearing about the Arabic language, and starting to hear that, oh, this is actually representing the Arabic language, the next level that I became aware of was kind of some of the cultural differences between different parts of the Arabic world, Arabic speaking world, and how that influenced, which probably makes sense to a lot of people, but for me, somehow it wasn't straightforward. It influenced the accent, the words being used in the context, and how the language is expressed. And, for example, I was blessed to be around for a long period of time a number of Egyptian Arabic speakers. And because of that, I've adopted some of the language internally from that specific culture. But at the same time, I've had some exposure more so to like Lebanese Arabic and speakers from kind of like the Middle Eastern regions. But now, years later, that I've been working on a project and working on things to help teach others some languages. Now that I've been exposed to the variety of a wider variety of the Arabic itself from a speaking perspective, how it's spoken differently, how the accents are different, how the wording is very different. It's very interesting. It's very deep. Um, so if you're learning the Arabic language, okay, if you're just starting out or you're in the middle of it, Rabbinim, which means God be with you. No, you can do it. Um, it does take some time. I can remember quite a while ago practicing the alphabet in Arabic, trying to memorize just the sequence of Elef, Be, Te, Te, Gim, Ho, Ha, Delta, Re, Zin, Sin, Sin, Sod, and going through over and over and over again. Some of the sounds like Rain and Ayin I couldn't say properly, and I had to do extra practice and to figure out how to say some of the letters. And then from there, uh, starting to recognize smaller words on a page. And I had extra help from an environment perspective because I was linked up with the Coptic Christian community, and within the church and within the community, a lot of Egyptian Arabic was spoken where I was. And thankfully, thank God for that, I was able to go to a number and years of masses and listen to the waza in Arabic, and which is the mass itself, the sermon, I'm sorry. Listen to that in Arabic and go through all of the motions. And I've had the chance to travel even to Egypt and be in for a semi kind of like a long period of time in the environment. Long period of time, a few weeks, a couple weeks. But in it, like in the environment, able to try and use language, try to understand things, and with a whole group of Egyptians, and just a wonderful experience. So now, why am I saying all of this in the context of the Arabic language? I believe today what I've been able to learn about it, for me personally, is the love I have for it is really based on my life experiences. There's still, from a script perspective and from a book and prayer perspective, if I'm hearing Arabic, I still, in some ways, I can understand some things just 20%. Some things I get right away, a few things, common things, but there's still books I read them. I can read it like the scripting wise, but I can't really understand everything. I do have some books at times that I pick up to remind myself that I can read, and there's other aspects that I think are important. But what I was hoping to say to you on this small chat isn't to teach you the Arabic language. There's a lot of resources that you can do that are available today. It's not to teach you and boast about what I can do in the Arabic language, because I mean I'm okay in some aspects. A lot of things I still don't know, but I can say that in a situation, uh, I have some level of confidence that I can go into a situation if I know someone is Arabic speaking, at least I can say the basic words. ازيك or كيفك كيف انت كيف انتي. Uh, I can say some basic how are yous and ask about certain things and times and numbers. So, to bring this to a close, find for the Arabic language. Um, it is a full language in itself. It's not a scribbles. It takes some time to learn the alphabets. It takes some time to read and learn more how to read from right to left if you're not used to that. It takes some time to learn more about the culture, which there can be some differences, and it takes time to appreciate those differences. But if you're trying to proceed, take your time. It's worth it. Um, I was fortunate and blessed to be inside the communities, and I've learned tremendously. There's no way I would have been able to study the amount of I've learned just by standing there in a 3 hour Coptic mass is like more than you can gain in that 3 hours just being in the environment than you can gain in a lifetime of academic studying of the Arabic language.